Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. All right, so we got altcoins getting ready to become a hot topic again. This coming from Galaxy BTC on Twitter X. Wow, look at that setup. Look at the RSI. We're moving higher. Generally, this ascending triangular pattern means another breakout is due to the upside. And I guess I should state that this is the total crypto market cap. So everything, including Bitcoin, we are slowly grinding to the upside, guys. You guys can see this trend on the daily for the total market cap. We've been making higher highs and higher lows since May of 2025. So, actually since before that, since about April 2025. And that just means, this trend has not been broken yet. Higher lows, as you guys can see on the charts, and higher highs. We are still forming that. Volume is still very healthy. The story for altcoins is hopefully going to look better than what we've seen it in the past. I mean, we've now receded back to 46. Fear and greed is back to 53. Market cap is down by a little bit today, but we have been seeing these fluctuations consistently throughout the last several weeks. We got a bit of red and green on the chart at the moment, and so, it's really just the name of this game, the waiting game. We have to wait for Bitcoin to rally before that next move to the upside. And as you guys can see, over the last couple of days now, Bitcoin has been retracing after a big bullish push to the upside on Friday, August the 22nd, if you guys are watching this video on the day that I'm releasing it. So we did see a high of about $117,000 for Bitcoin. And now we're seeing those 2 days after the big pump, not seeing nearly as much volume, as you guys can see down here on the chart, and the price movement isn't nearly as much. So it'll probably take 3 or maybe even 4 candlesticks to engulf one bullish candlestick. So guys, that's also very good news. If we do see a reversal, maybe we will see a higher high sooner rather than later. The other thing that I think we should be paying attention to is XRP compared to Bitcoin. So if we take a look at Credible Crypto's tweet here, he says, in hindsight, this should be obvious. Take a look at this setup. This is the XRP to BTC chart. And so let's just bring that up real quickly here. XRP to BTC. And the setup on this chart is also looking super dynamite. Here, let's see if we can throw it on the weekly and see if we can get, really, it's just this super bullish stem followed by a bit of a downward trend, but pennant is tilting upward a little bit here instead of it going straight across. We are seeing the lows. It's actually more like that. So we did dip down, of course, back in June, but guys, now we're making a mini bullish pennant pattern. If I throw that on the daily, the mini bullish pennant within the bullish pennant pattern right in here. Boom, boom, boom. And this XRP setup to the upside, who knows how far it could go. We already saw 300% off Bitcoin. And so if we do see something similar from where we are today, 330%. All right, 331. Okay, that would bring us in and around here. This doesn't really tell us too much because we would have to correlate that with regards to Bitcoin price. But if we were to take the XRP chart and even just take 331% on XRP from today, 330, 330, this is roughly 331 in and around here. Well, guys, it's very funny where that takes us. Now, I've just zoomed out and thrown this on the weekly just to show you guys the broader trend here. And look at that. That gets us very, very close to this top level here, the 4.236. For more information on how I'm treating this particular bull run, because we are still trading in spec. And guys, a lot of this stuff is based on speculative activity, based on technical analysis and chart readings. But, XRP could technically go even higher, okay, depending on if we find ourselves in a real-world utility setting by perhaps Q4 or maybe the first quarter of 2026. You can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel for my insight on that. I have rolled back prices. It is only $5 a month for a limited time, but you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock into that subscription price. So amazing. That would bring us right in around $13, $12.99, 13 give or take, and that top level up there, that is about 386 give or take. Sorry, not 1386. So very close to the 4.236. Wanted to thank Credible Crypto and wanted to thank Galaxy here on Twitter for posting those. Ali Chart's also saying, XRP is in the middle of a rebound. And, we've taken a look at the XRP chart, getting up above that all-time high now. I mean, if we look back on the micro time frame here for XRP, that is really what it's going to be all about. Getting up above, $3.66. That is the new all-time high for XRP. So that would be that level up there. We've got several levels of resistance to break up against. So former all-time high before that, which is about $3.38. That is the next level here to crack. But guys, we got a lot of bullish tailwinds now, suggesting that we could see this sooner rather than later. Chad Steingraber here bringing this to our attention. The bottom of the market has been oversold, and there's going to be a massive catch-up trade between now and Q1 2026. This was a clip from Fox Business. Listen to this.
There's going to be liquidity and people realize that, the market is going to go higher and there's risk assets. And then, Charles, and I think you've been talking about this for a period of time, is Wall Street sold the bottom. Wall Street is underexposed. And so like in 09 or 03, we're going to have a massive catch-up trade between now and the first quarter of 2026. And so, yes, AI is great, but at the same point in time, small cap, retail, home builders, everything is going to have a massive catch-up trade. And so what I would be suggesting your listeners to do or your viewers to do is expect the breadth in the market to increase over the next 4 to 6 months.
So if the breadth in the market does increase over the next 4 to 6 months, that takes us to, what is that, September, October, November, December, that is 4 months. And then the first little bit of Q1 of 2026. Could it extend that far? Or are we basically going to see the blow off top basically end by Christmas? One more quarter, people. Senator Cynthia Lummis says the crypto market structure bill should pass by Christmas. So by Christmas means probably before Christmas. This coming from Marty Party here. This will trigger floodgates and 2x the market caps of best-in-breed network tokens. Market structure laws, when the law represents the categorization of crypto into different types of networks and tokens with different paths to register them or not register them with government. So essentially delineating which ones are I guess, utility tokens, which ones are not, or meme tokens, or whatever. I mean, to classify these tokens, I think, is what, institutions want to know about. They don't want to be investing in garbage. It redefines the Howey test to modernize it to include decentralized assets and commodities. But most importantly, it also bans manipulation, wash trading, using customer funds, and introduces surveillance on centralized exchanges. Down here, he says the friction to registration will be lowered by the SEC and CFTC, who clearly want the U.S. to be the leader in zombie blockchains with inadequate Nakamoto scores, low adoption, and unfulfilled promises will not pass as commodities. So basically, making sure that the platforms we're going to be trading on are fully regulated and robust and liquid enough. Now, it's interesting that Senator Cynthia Lummis said this. Subjective Views posting this. So great to see Brad Garlinghouse and Senator Lummis on good terms. I think these guys all know what's coming. I think these guys are, they're very good at hiding it, but they know what's coming, I think. And, if we look at historical precedent, okay, I think you and I can glean more information as well. Every major crash was preceded by a Fed pivot. So we've also been hearing about this Fed pivot. History doesn't lie. This coming from Jungle Inc. 1929 to 1930, Fed eased after the crash, and then the Great Depression deepened within 12 months. Then we have 1980, the Volcker cut. Inflation came roaring back, then the brutal 1981 to 1982 recession. Then we had 1989, the Fed pivoted, savings and loan crisis, plus a recession within 18 months. Then the year 2000, Fed paused, then cut in 2001, the dot-com bubble burst in recession. And then there was 2006, guys, the Fed stopped hiking, and it crashed in 2007, and then we had the collapse by 2008. So basically at every point in time within the last, let's say, 100 years, we did see the Federal Reserve easing on rates, and then we did see a big crash. So then this puts the question back. I think, it's safe to say, if we do see those interest rate cuts, are they going to be followed by a big crash? And then this puts into question the real world utility if these coins do crash based on market sentiment. So again, you guys can follow me at patreon.com/RookieMoneyChannel as I'm following this very, very carefully. So I wanted to thank Chad Steingraber and Marty Party and Subjective Views for posting that, as well as Jungle Inc. Now, guys, Ripple partners like Flutterwave, they've just acquired licenses for digital payment services, this time in Senegal. Flutterwave is one of Africa's leading payment technology companies, and they've just secured a payment institution license from from the Central Bank of West African States. According to the fintech company, the license has positioned Flutterwave to help businesses in Senegal scale by offering its full range of seamless digital payment services in the country. And here's a quote: "It's necessary to make payments as easy as possible across Africa." This coming from the founder and CEO of Flutterwave. "The continent is brimming with business opportunities, and Senegal, like many other African nations, has the potential to be at the forefront, radically contributing to the growth of Africa's digital economy." Flutterwave has been one of these companies that have really made a concerted effort to integrate Africa and to connect all the countries in Africa so that they can, and I mean, it's not every single country, but it's a way to produce more infrastructure, I guess, digital infrastructure for commerce. In a lot of these countries, they're using the US dollar as the reserve currency. Their native currencies aren't very liquid and have not historically been very liquid. So, with companies like Flutterwave doing this in the continent of Africa, it really has been beneficial for Africans. Senegal represents a significant portion of the 28% of adults using mobile money in sub-Saharan Africa, driving the growth of digital payments across the continent. So, another success story here, of course, with more licenses in countries like Senegal. Flutterwave is just going to continue to do better and better. I also happen to see this from Professor Ripple Effect, guys. Ripple's connections to genetics and health. Now, I didn't actually know there were, I've been hearing about projects being built on the XRP ledger with regards to digital health, okay, where DNA meets blockchain powered by the XRPL, owned by you. This is from DNA Protocol. The DNA Protocol is a blockchain project built on the XRP ledger that focuses on securing and tokenizing genomic and healthcare data for real-world assets, okay, so RWAs. It uses the XRPL's low cost and speed to anchor cryptographic hashes of human biometric data, enabling secure, decentralized control and access to this sensitive information, which has seen the XRPL's RWA issuance surge. This integration allows for verifiable identity, patient consent, and access control to genomic data, tapping into a $1 trillion healthcare and biotech market. I didn't realize we were this far ahead when it comes to the medical advancements on the XRP ledger. But the interesting thing here that Professor Ripple Effect noticed, Brad Garlinghouse was on the board of Ancestry.com for over 3 years, and David Schwartz was a partner and co-founder of a medical device service manufacturing company. Check this out. Brad Garlinghouse is LinkedIn, I guess. Board member of Tonic Health and a board member of Ancestry.com between 2013 and 2016. Things that make you go, these guys have a history in the medical field. And even in the 90s, David Schwartz was a partner at Cardiophonics from January 1992 to January 1995, co-founder of a medical device manufacturing company that developed, manufactured, and sold a non-invasive medical device to provide objective measures of the presence of severity of heart murmurs and related conditions. So guys, both David Schwartz and Brad Garlinghouse, at two different stages in their careers, were involved in the medical fields. And now, of course, it's making more sense where we're seeing more medical devices and medical protocols and projects being built on the XRP ledgers. So thought I would just share that with you today as well. Wanted to thank Professor Ripple Effect for posting that. On Friday, XRP was surging, and it did actually make its way into the top 100 assets by market cap after flipping Pinduo Duo, that's the name of it, Deutsche Telekom, and Cattle. XRP was at number 97. Unfortunately, though, prices have gone down, and of course, not as much liquidity in the market. XRP still in the top 100, but it is now sitting firmly at number 100. I think, it is just a matter of time before we see the market move, before we see XRP price move up even higher. Remember, guys, tailwinds are at our backs, and the catalyst is really going to be regulation when we do see meaningful regulation formalized, as stated here by, who was it? It was Marty Party. One more quarter to go. Senator Cynthia Lummis says the crypto market structure bill could pass by Christmas. So all eyes are on Q4 of 2025. But then we got to be really careful. We got to make sure that markets don't crash. Again, as per Jungle Inc., we have every time we've seen the Fed easing, we have seen markets crash. So something to be paying attention to. The real world utility, though, in the 1700 NDAs, that could be a turning point. So guys, I happen to see this from Lord Belgrave, and it's purported that this is the first NDA excerpt that he will share is drawn from a mutual non-disclosure and strategic cooperation agreement executed between a Swiss banking major, so is that UBS, and an American blockchain infrastructure company. What follows is merely the purpose clause. The remainder of the agreement is even more revealing. So I don't know, if I'm going to be skeptical, okay, out of the gate, Purpose of the agreement. So here's an excerpt. The parties acknowledge their mutual interest in collaborating on a design, development, and validation of secure real-time financial infrastructure that enables, now just listen to this stuff, cross-border value transfer via neutral protocol agnostic mechanisms, tokenization and settlement of regulated financial instruments leveraging distributed ledger technologies, integration of identity verified asset flows incorporating frameworks for biometric identity mapping, execution of real-time gross settlement, so RTGS simulations in conformity with next-generation financial messaging standards, and deployment of institutional-grade messaging and liquidity channels for wholesale market transactions under emerging international frameworks. So observations from the practitioner's lens, neutral, protocol agnostic, okay, these are all terms Ripple has used in the past. That's technical language for bridge assets such as XRP infrastructure that eliminates reliance on a single sovereign currency. Tokenization of regulatory instruments references treasuries, sovereign debt, ETFs, and structured notes, not retail crypto products. So again, this does relate or could relate to Ripple. The mention of biometric identity mapping is far beyond the remit of traditional banking agreements. It signals the future fusion of digital identity rails with settlement systems. So the agreement further stipulates this agreement governs the exchange of non-public information necessary to evaluate joint operational models and potential participation in multi-layered liquidity corridors across compliant financial jurisdictions. Interpretation in plain terms, multi-layered liquidity corridors. Okay, that denotes a convergence of fiat rails, tokenized securities, CBDCs, and neutral bridges operating in tandem across compliant jurisdictions establishes the groundwork for the globally interoperable clearance layer, one that no single state owns but all institutions must eventually interface with. The subtext, a blueprint for tokenized capital markets at systemic scale. It all is sounding like Ripple and XRP to me. What I have disclosed here is only the purpose clause of the agreement, so we don't have the full thing. The full document encompasses operational framework governance models, liability allocations, and jurisdictional carve-outs. I will release excerpts selectively as a pace and depth consistent with personal safety. So Lord Belgrave saying here, he's got the skivvy, he's got the inside scoop. As you guys can see here, he's an ex-City of London banker. At least that's what he purports on his Twitter X accounts. He also says why this matters. Contrary to the public narrative, Ripple's work has never was limited to remittance corridors, and that's exactly what we've found out over the years. These agreements reveal a coordinated effort to engineer a neutral, auditable, institutional-grade settlement architecture that's designed to rewire global markets from custody to capital formation. So he says, my approach here, I will proceed deliberately. Each disclosure will be accompanied by context and interpretation to avoid mischaracterization. He says the document does exist. They were drafted by legal counsel, scrutinized by regulators, and transacted through the hands of bankers like myself. And I know there are others who have seen even more. So does Lord Belgrave actually have documents suggesting this could be the first NDA, the first of 1,700, by the way, that is being released UBS? Well, we do know back in 2023, UBS and SBI and DBS completed their world's first cross-border repo with a natively issued digital bond fully executed and settled on a public blockchain. We know if it was with SBI, chances are this was done with XRP. We also have more confirmation a year later. From April 2024, Ripple joins UBS and Six Group as one of Tenity's global strategic partners. There was no confirmation that they were using them exclusively, but guys, maybe that's because the agreement was under NDA. I don't know, this is all sounding very, very interesting. Definitely piques my interest. And if one is coming out, how soon before the rest of these NDAs become revealed? And more importantly, how high is XRP price going to go? I mean, $13 is a great, great, great start. If we're thinking about a spec market, can it go higher than that, though? Follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel for more insight on where I think the market's going to go. And guys, there's only about a week left of 15% off the Working Money Channel merch store. Check it out. Every little bit counts. And thanks so much to everybody who supported the channel by purchasing some Working Money Channel merch. Link is in the description of the video. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.